Hello, hello, hello. And do you know if happiness is the basic thing to become productive, highly productive, because that is what you think that life has to offer you, right? So, if that is what life has to offer you, just give me a second. So, if you are happy enough, then you are going to be productive. And if you are going to be productive, then you are going to be awarded with lot of opportunities. So, if you are going to be rewarded with lot of opportunities, lot of growth, you are getting into a very senior position, right? That is what you want, right? So, it all starts and it all boils down to happiness, right? So how you will be happy? So every day I meet people who are kind of crying over something or volte base about something or other. At times it is not having salary, not having promotion, not having growth, not having recognition. Somebody else has got that opportunity. And recently during the covid time, it was like loss of job itself. So the basic thing for livelihood is gone. So have you seen people who have bounced back from all those dire situation recently, long ago, and all the time they always bounce back from a very dire situation to something of prosperity and growth. Always it happens. So life is always getting into a dip and getting over it. So a lot of a series of dipping down towards the low, you hit rock bottom and then you go up. That is the sequence life follows, right? So whenever you are going to a bottom, be sure that that is the time when you are also going great. You will have your growth right after a very dire happening incidents in your life. So all the dire situations come with a learning, something learning, and immediately you bounce back to your growth, right? Now the growths are different. Sometimes you dip very low and you don't go as up as you expect. Why that happens? Because the learning is not complete. So this explains why we face such adversity in life. Unless those adversity come, there will not be realization of many other things, which explains lot other things which you don't actually understand beforehand. You know it. All the adversities give you an insight which you otherwise won't be able to understand. Like, do you understand the other person's sorrow, or no, any grief or anger or anything, unless you have gone through that particular situation yourself? So that realization, if required, so each of us require to have all those understandings to grow in life. After all, growth is what? Growth is managing people around, managing yourself, managing time, and managing people around. That is what success is, and that is how you grow. So unless you master those kind of qualities, you are not going to grow. So how do you get those mastering quality? By getting those adversities which will broaden your understanding, right? Which once it broadens your understanding, that is how you will grow, right? So each time you get an adversity, know for sure that your understanding is getting broadened. Now having said so, now how to get happiness? Sadness, okay, we we all get. And after being pushed into such adversities, how to get happiness? Happiness is, we can have right now. You can take one example, like happiness happens because you are recognized and your life feels fulfilled, because you are working for a meaning. You have a purpose right now, and you are not working for yourself, you are working for many more people, you are contributing. So life has a purpose, life has a meaning. And you yourself, because who is your biggest competitor? You should be your biggest competitor. How? Because you should improve at least 1% of what you were yesterday. So everyday growth is there. So if you see your growth, if you spend some time to see your growth, then that also gives meaning. So to sustain happiness, these are the three things. See, it is not about, like, say, the livelihood thing. The livelihood thing is the minimum parameter that we are expecting from a person who is looking for growth. A person who is at livelihood level, he is not looking for growth, he is looking for roti kapda and makan, right? And every person who is a little qualified, he will get roti kapda or makan. Have you seen anybody who is pretty educated and decently educated and decently having thought process, he is going without roti kapda or makan? No. So that person, once that is satisfied, he now looks for recognition, meaning, and which is why we have this training. Why we are looking for more understanding and more growth? Because we are looking beyond the roti kapda or makan, which is Maslow's lowest hierarchy, lowest platform in the hierarchy. So once you qualify that, you have some amount of money, then your life doesn't give you any happiness. It now looks for something more. What more you will go for? Unless you have a meaning, you have a purpose, you have growth, right? Something you see in front of you, and then you work towards it to achieve that, right? In that process, you need to be contributing for the well-being of lot many people. That is what meaningful existence is. And unless, if you are a project manager, if you are a project manager level, then it is not about your own growth, not about your own uh, promotion or incentive. It is about having a bigger goal. That is what yesterday I told, that if a project manager starts thinking about how a vice president thinks, then his growth will be perpetual and continuous and fast, you know. So people take 15 to 20 years to get to that level, which explains how to think like a VP at the strategy level. But that can be shortened with, if you are with experienced people who have gone through that journey, and it will certain to say 5 to 6 years. If you start thinking in that line, you will grow with very little time, right? So it starts, mind you, with happiness in mind, and happiness comes with a purpose, a meaning, and experience, and how you look about your growth, how it has happened. Unless you look at it, you are not going to grow, because every day life will seem to be similar. You have woken up, you have eaten for the day, you have spent that day, and that is how every day is. There are certain meaningful things when your life has given you much happiness more than expectation. There are times, like innumerable times, that is happening in your life. Unless you record those, unless you remember those, you are not going to be happy, right? Once happiness happens, that incidence has happened, it is gone forever, right? So why you remember what has been past? That is to know, to evaluate, to assess how much you have come across and how much you have grown. If that you keep in mind, that is the reverse gap that you are estimating. Instead of going forward, if then model, like say, suppose this thing happens, then I'll be happy. See, without those things happening, also you have been happy. Of course, you will design your day, you design your purpose, and accordingly you evaluate. Those things will be there, but try having those things and then trust on this, that the universe will take care about whatever you are dreaming, right? And if you have been giving effort into it, it always comes true. You will be surprised. You will be surprised in 3 days, 3, 4 days. If you write down something, I challenge you. If you write down something of uh, your dream and give the universe 3 days, within 3 days, it will give you some result. You will be surprised to see, and your happiness starts from that discovery that your dream, your intention has been applauded and given a hearing, and it has come to fructify. you know that will give you immense surprise, immense pleasure, and more enthusiasm to go forward. So let us start all with that. Let us start with what has been our journey so far, about our meaning, our purpose, our growth, and for what we have been living so far. What has given us happiness so far? Let us start with that. That is a small exercise that we can start with. So, thank you for watching, and please write down what has been your takeaway so that we can discuss further with our growth, how it happens. Thank you for watching.